I used to think life couldn't get better than this. My apartment, my car, my career. Everything lined up perfectly, like it was meant to be. And then there was Zara. God, I loved her more than I thought possible. Every morning, the sunlight bouncing off her hair made the city outside my windows seem insignificant. I never imagined that someone who could smile like that could also lie with such precision. I remember walking into the apartment that evening. The faint smell of perfume lingered, familiar but wrong. My heart didn't notice it at first. I thought she was just home early. But then I saw the emptiness. "Hello," I called out, my voice tighter than I intended. No answer. The apartment, once warm with laughter and scattered memories, was sterile. My couch, my TV, even the little things on the shelves, gone. I found the note on the dining table. "Thanks for everything. Enjoy the emptiness. Zara." I stared at it, thinking it was a cruel joke. My fingers shook as I held the paper, reading it again and again, hoping the words would rearrange themselves into something else. Something that didn't mean she'd taken everything. Zara. "What the hell is this?" I whispered into the empty room. I sank onto the couch, though it felt hollow, too light without her there. I tried calling her. Her phone went straight to voicemail. I called my bank. Every account was emptied. My car? Repossessed, or maybe she sold it. My apartment lease? Terminated. Couldn't breathe. Not because of the air, but because the life I'd built was gone. And the person I trusted more than anyone had torn it away. I called David first. David, you're not going to believe this," I said, my voice raw. "Whoa, slow down. What happened?" His tone was cautious, the way it always is when he knows you're on the edge. "Everything. Zara. She took everything." There was a pause on the other end. "Wait. Everything?" "Yes. Bank accounts, my car, my apartment. She left me a note, David." "A note?" My voice cracked. I don't know what to say. Just breathe. You'll get through this." I laughed bitterly, a sound that made me wince. "Breathe? David, she literally erased my life. How do I breathe through that?" You move on. That's all you can do. Move on." I repeated, disbelief coating every syllable. "I can't just move on from someone who betrayed me like this. This isn't some argument we can patch up. She stole my life." David hesitated. I get it, man, but you'll rebuild. You have to." "I feel humiliated," I admitted, my throat tight, like I've been laughed at, like every smile she gave me was fake. And the worst part, I didn't see it coming. "You'll see it now," he said softly, "and you'll be smarter for it." I hung up and let my head fall into my hands. Every conversation, every dinner, every late night talk with her. It replayed in my mind like a film I wished I could turn off. Was it the way she looked at me sometimes? Or the way she always had to have the last word? I muttered aloud, pacing the apartment. I thought it was love. God, I thought it was love. I checked the apartment one more time, almost hoping something would reappear, like a forgotten wallet or her scent lingering somewhere tangible. But the space was as empty as my chest felt. I called my friends next, desperate for anything resembling comfort. "Hey, I don't know what to do," I admitted to Sarah, my voice low. "Oh my God, Frez, I'm so sorry," she said. "Can you stay with me for a few days? You shouldn't be alone." I can't just run away. I need to face this. You're hurting. I get it, but don't torture yourself alone. I feel powerless," I whispered, almost ashamed. Like everything I've worked for, everything I believed in, is gone. And there's nothing I can do to stop it. "Time heals," she said, "even if it doesn't feel like it now." I ended the call, staring at the walls that had witnessed every argument, every laugh, every quiet moment of love. They were now just walls, cold, indifferent, merciless. I sat down, finally allowing the tears to come. Anger, disbelief, heartbreak. They all collided into one suffocating weight. I had loved blindly, trusted completely, and now nothing remained. I didn't know how I would reclaim my life, or if I even could. But one thing was painfully clear. My perfect life had been shattered, and Zara had shown me just how easily someone you love could become a stranger. And in that emptiness, I whispered to the universe, to her, to myself, "You've taken everything, but I'm not finished." The days after the betrayal blurred into one long gray haze. I wandered the streets without direction, my hands stuffed in my jacket pockets, eyes scanning faces that weren't hers. Every corner, every cafe, every taxi I passed reminded me of what I'd lost, or more accurately, who had taken it. I ended up at David's apartment that first night, sprawled on his spare bed like a discarded coat. "You really look like hell," he said, handing me a cup of instant coffee. "Thanks," I muttered, voice hollow. "I feel like hell too." "You're not eating much," he observed. "Not sleeping either, I bet." I shrugged. "Can't. Every time I close my eyes, I see her face. I hear her laugh. I remember the way she touched me, like it meant nothing." David's jaw tightened. "I told you, man, people like her, they don't care. You can't let it define you." "I can't just forget," I said, staring at the ceiling. "I can't just pretend this didn't happen. She's out there, smiling, living my life." He hesitated, then said, "Do you want to see her? Or maybe it's better if you don't." I snorted. "See her? Of course I do. I want to see how smug she looks, sitting in my apartment, driving my car, spending my money. I want to scream at her. I don't know, some kind of closure." "Closure," David repeated, almost bitterly. "Good luck with that. Some people don't give it willingly." I left his apartment the next morning before he could argue further. The city felt different now. Not bustling, not alive, just hollow, echoing the emptiness I carried inside me. I walked aimlessly, sometimes stopping to stare at shop windows, imagining her there, flaunting what she had stolen. "God, you don't even know me anymore," I whispered under my breath. "You don't know the life you destroyed." That night, I didn't return to David's. I slept on a park bench, the cold metal pressing against my ribs. But even the discomfort was preferable to the memories chasing me in an empty room. Every time I closed my eyes, her laughter cut sharper than knives. By the third day, I started hearing things. Indirect mentions from friends and mutual acquaintances. Snippets that made my stomach churn. "Did you see her at that gala last night? Driving that sleek black car. She was laughing, showing off that apartment. Looks like she's living the dream." I clenched my fists, jaw aching. My pride was bleeding far more than my empty bank account. Each story felt like another blow, another reminder that she had not only taken what I owned, but she thrived on it. I wanted to confront her. I wanted to storm into her new life and demand justice. But every time I imagined it, a wave of vulnerability washed over me. Fear, humiliation, heartbreak, they tangled together, keeping me frozen. "You're just a coward," I muttered to myself one night, pacing the tiny room David had reluctantly let me occupy. "You let her take everything, and now you're hiding." But the coward in me realized something else. If I acted without thinking, if I let my emotions rule, she would win again. She wanted to see me weak, and I couldn't give her that satisfaction. So I began quietly, obsessively. I didn't know what I was looking for exactly. Truth? Proof? Some crack in her flawless facade. But I started small, piecing together bits of information. I walked past the building she now lived in, pretending it was coincidence. I noticed the luxury cars in the driveway, the concierge's polite nod. I overheard snippets of conversations in cafes, whispers from waiters, friends, acquaintances who didn't know I was listening. "She's moved fast," one woman said. "Everything just perfect, like she always belonged here." I muttered to myself. "No, not her. You're not the woman I loved anymore." And in that realization, something shifted inside me. Anger became sharper, more focused. Betrayal transformed into strategy. The heartbreak didn't disappear. It dug in, but alongside it came clarity. I wouldn't just sit and watch. I would reclaim my life piece by piece. I started keeping notes. Details, patterns, every little habit I could discover. Her favorite cafes, the brands she flaunted, the people who orbited her world now. It was obsessive but necessary. I needed to understand who she had become, because the woman I loved was gone. Sometimes I caught myself talking aloud. You think you can erase me, Zara? But I'm still here. I see you. I see everything. And in those moments, I realized something I hadn't admitted yet. I wanted more than closure. I wanted justice. Maybe revenge. Maybe just the satisfaction of seeing her realize she hadn't won completely. The nights were long, and the streets felt endless. But I felt alive in a way I hadn't since the betrayal. My grief was a fuel, my anger a compass. I wasn't ready to confront her yet. I didn't even fully know how. But I was no longer powerless. And in the quiet, under the dim glow of streetlights, I whispered to the shadows that had become my allies. This isn't over. Not by a long shot. I realized something that night, lying awake on David's couch, staring at the ceiling I'd come to know like a second home. No one could rebuild my life for me. Not friends, not sympathy, not luck. I had to do it myself. Fraz, you've got to stop moping, David said the next morning, handing me a mug of coffee. You can cry and scream all you want, but at some point you need a plan. I know, I muttered, taking the cup. The warmth didn't reach my chest, but the words lodged there. I don't even know where to start. Start small, he suggested. You know the law, you know the rules. You just need to apply them. Slowly, I nodded, sipping the coffee and letting the bitter taste sharpen my thoughts. Small steps, that was something I could handle. I began by researching her business dealings. Nothing flashy, just observing patterns, tracking transactions, reading news mentions, paying attention to the people around her. It was like piecing together a puzzle, and the more I saw, the more the betrayal fueled me rather than broke me. You can't let this eat you alive, Sarah warned over the phone one evening. Don't become obsessed. Obsessed. I laughed bitterly. I've been betrayed, Sarah. Everything I trusted, gone. I have to be obsessed, or I'm finished. There was silence on the line. Then she said softly, just be careful. Revenge changes people. I'm careful, I promised, though even I knew it was a lie. Careful was the mask I wore while I planned. The heartbreak didn't vanish. It transformed. Pain sharpened my mind, turned my anger into strategy. Each night, I replayed her betrayal, not as a victim, but as a strategist. The notes she left, the accounts she drained, the way she flaunted my possessions. It became data, patterns, weaknesses, leverage. You think about her too much, David said one night as we sat in my temporary apartment, cluttered with notebooks and spreadsheets I'd stolen from my own old files. You can't let her dominate your mind like this. She already does, I admitted. But now it's different. I'm not broken anymore. I'm calculating. Every time I remember her laugh, every time I think about that smug look she gave me, I turn it into steps, a plan. And this plan? He asked. What does it even look like? I smiled faintly, a shadow of satisfaction curling in my chest. It's nothing yet, just observations, connections, details. But each tiny victory, every insight, every loophole I notice, it's mine. It's proof I'm still in control. I started reconnecting with old friends discreetly, people I knew from business school, colleagues who had moved on to their own ventures. I asked for advice on financial recovery, legal strategy, even discreet investigation. You're serious about this? One friend said, raising an eyebrow. Most people would have crumbled by now. I don't have the luxury of crumbling, I said. Not anymore. I've been too trusting, too blind. I let her manipulate me. That ends now. And it did. Every time I noticed a detail about her, how she managed her new acquisitions, which banks she used, who her advisors were, I felt satisfaction. Small, private victories, but victories nonetheless. Each one reinforced that I was no longer powerless. I've been stupid, I muttered one night to myself, staring at a folder of her public financial records. I let trust blind me. But not anymore. I see everything clearly now. By then, the apartment felt like a war room. Maps of connections, notes on habits, tabs open on legal procedures. I moved among them like a general planning a campaign. My grief had been the spark. Now determination was the fire. Evenings were the hardest. Memories of her touch, her laughter, the way she had made me believe in forever, kept creeping in. But instead of breaking me, they sharpened me. I studied the patterns of betrayal like a chess player analyzing an opponent's moves. Every smile she once gave, every intimate word, was now fuel to anticipate, to plan, to reclaim. "You're changing," David said cautiously. "This focus, this obsession, it's different from the man I knew." "I'm not the man you knew," I replied. "I'm better, smarter. I won't let her destroy another piece of my life. And I won't let her think she's untouchable." There was no turning back. Each day brought a small insight, a piece of leverage, a reminder that I could regain control. The despair that had once crushed me was now a quiet, simmering force. The heartbreak had become my compass, and pain had turned into cunning determination. By the end of the week, I had a plan forming in the shadows of my mind. Not a reckless, immediate confrontation, nothing that would risk exposing my position too soon. No, this was something slow, deliberate, strategic. Every small victory, every observation, every discreet reconnection with old allies brought me closer to one goal: reclaiming my life on my terms. I leaned back in my chair, staring at the mess of notes and files surrounding me. My chest still ached from betrayal. My nights were still restless. But for the first time, I felt a strange exhilaration. I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was preparing. And in the quiet hum of the city outside my window, I whispered to myself, "This isn't heartbreak. It's the beginning of everything. And she will see. I'm not finished." I never thought I'd feel satisfaction in betrayal. But that morning, when I uncovered the first of Zara's secrets, the satisfaction was undeniable. "Look at this," I whispered, scrolling through her financials late at night, coffee growing cold beside me. Illegal transfers, offshore accounts, shell companies. David leaned over my shoulder. "You're serious? She's playing with fire here." "She's always played," I said quietly, my fingers hovering over the keyboard. "I just didn't see it until now." I had begun connecting with people she had wronged. The first was Arun, a former colleague who had invested in one of her ventures. "She used our funds to cover losses elsewhere," he said bitterly, pacing my temporary apartment. I tried to confront her, but she's untouchable. I studied him. "And you're okay talking to me? You know I was part of her life too." He shrugged. "You're not her. And apparently, you're not afraid to do what's necessary." I nodded slowly. Fear and caution were my allies now, but so was this anger, the kind that sharpened your vision. Next was Layla, a lawyer who had quietly battled Zara over contracts and broken promises. She was professional, careful, but I caught the glint of personal grudge in her eyes. "You're careful," she said flatly when I approached her office. "I don't trust many people who've been burned by her." "I'm not asking for trust," I replied. "I'm asking for guidance, legal insight, someone who knows how she manipulates loopholes." She studied me for a long moment, then nodded. "Fine, but if you step over the line..." "I won't," I interrupted. "I'm not here for greed. I'm here for justice. And I can tell you, she deserves it." Layla allowed herself a brief smirk. "Then we may have a chance." Then came the tech angle. My old friend, Samir, a cybersecurity expert, agreed to help me access her mismanaged records. "You're insane, you know that?" he said as we huddled over screens filled with spreadsheets and server logs. "Maybe," I said, smiling faintly, "but she's already insane. I'm just evening the playing field." His fingers flew across the keyboard, bypassing weak encryption and mismanaged databases. "If anyone finds out about this..." "I know," I said, tension coiling in my chest. "That's why we're careful." Each new piece of information felt like a key, unlocking doors I hadn't realized existed. Illegal investments, tax fraud, hidden deals, these weren't just her betrayals against me. She had left a trail of broken promises and ruined reputations everywhere she went. I caught myself hesitating sometimes. Am I becoming her? I whispered into the dark apartment, alone except for the glow of screens. David's voice echoed in my mind. Revenge changes people. Yes, I admitted to myself, but I'm not stealing for greed. I'm reclaiming what she stole and exposing the rest. This is justice, not malice. Every meeting, every conversation intensified the tension. Arun didn't trust easily, and Layla's eyes were always calculating. Samir's humor masked a sharp mind that anticipated every risk. Together, though, they became my circle, my allies against someone who once seemed untouchable. I can't believe I ever loved her, Arun muttered one evening, staring at a chart I'd compiled showing her shady deals. The lies, the audacity. I nodded. I know, but now we have something she doesn't expect. Awareness, strategy, and maybe leverage. Layla leaned over the papers, pointing at an account she'd uncovered. If we follow this, we can prove a pattern. This isn't just luck or error. It's deliberate. And if we expose it? I asked. Then she faces consequences, Layla said softly. Finally, the moral tension was constant. Every step forward, I questioned myself. Was I crossing a line? Could I justify this? But each time, I returned to a simple truth. She had taken everything from me. My trust, my life, my sense of security. I wasn't acting out of greed. I was restoring balance. Samir tapped the keyboard again. Got another batch of records. Mismanaged accounts, hidden transactions, offshore companies. Whoever set this up underestimated her own incompetence. I grinned, a rare expression that felt almost foreign. Then we keep going. Every detail counts. Every mistake she's made is our advantage. David called that night. You sound alive, he said cautiously. I am, I replied, my eyes scanning the latest discovery. Alive and in control. For the first time in weeks, I feel like I'm moving forward instead of being dragged under. He was quiet for a moment. Just, don't let it consume you completely. I won't, I said, though the words felt both true and uncertain. I had crossed the threshold from despair to strategy. Pain had sharpened me, betrayal had opened my eyes, and now every secret I uncovered, every ally I recruited, made me feel less like a victim and more like an architect of my own destiny. By the time the city outside my window grew quiet, I was certain of one thing. I was no longer powerless. The heartbreak had transformed into agency. Every conversation, every revelation, every hidden truth was a stepping stone. And as I leaned back, staring at the maps, charts, and spreadsheets I'd assembled, I whispered into the silence. She underestimated me, and soon, she'll regret it. I didn't plan to enjoy it. I told myself this was strategy, not satisfaction. But the moment the report went public, the moment Zara's minor fraud hit the news like a spark catching dry leaves, something inside me lit up. The article was small, barely a paragraph, just a mention of inconsistencies in her company's quarterly filings. Nothing explosive, nothing that screamed collapse, but enough to pinch her finances and bruise her reputation. Samir called me the second it aired. She's definitely seen it, he said, barely containing his grin through the phone. How do you know? Because her PR team is panicking online. They're deleting comments, responding defensively. A company only acts like that when they're guilty. I leaned back, the tension in my chest easing into something sharper. Good. Let them scramble. David, who was reading the article over my shoulder, let out a low whistle. You really did it. After everything she took from you, you finally punched back. It's not a punch, I murmured. It's a tap on the shoulder. A reminder she's not untouchable. But deep inside, where I used to store grief and heartbreak, something darker whispered. It feels good, doesn't it? The first message came from her barely an hour later. Zara, can we talk? Me? About what, Zara? I think there's a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding, right? Like taking everything I owned was a clerical error. I didn't respond. 5 minutes later, my phone buzzed again. This time, she was calling. I stared at her name glowing on the screen. The name that once warmed my entire world. Now it pulsed like a warning. I answered. Fraz? Her voice was soft, almost trembling. I'm hearing things. People are sending me links. I just wanted to check on you. You've been distant. We haven't talked. I closed my eyes for a moment. That tone, gentle, familiar, stabbed at something old inside me. Why do you care? I asked. You didn't care when you left with everything I owned. That's not fair, she whispered. You know things were complicated. Oh, please, I said, my voice steady and motionless. Don't start rewriting history. I'm not, she insisted. I miss you, okay? I didn't want things to end like this. Like this. I laughed softly. You ended things by emptying my accounts and walking away without a word. I'd say the ending was entirely your design. Silence stretched on her end, heavy and choking. Frez, listen, she said quietly. If you're hurting, I understand. I want to fix things. You want to fix your reputation, I corrected. That's all. She inhaled sharply. So you believe the rumors? You think I'm capable of fraud? I don't think, I replied. I know. Another long silence. Then she spoke again, voice trembling. I made mistakes, but I never meant to hurt you. I breathed out slowly, forcing the old ache back down. You hurt me because it was convenient, because you wanted an easier life. That's not true, she said quickly. I cared about you. I still do. The words hit me harder than I expected. My chest tightened. Nostalgia, anger, longing, all twisted painfully together. For a moment, I saw the woman I used to love. Then I remembered the empty apartment, the drained accounts, the mocking note. No, y whisperat. You cared about what I could give you. She didn't deny it. That told me everything. I'm not your victim anymore, I said. Whatever happens now, it's because of your own choices. Frez, please. Her voice cracked. Just tell me you didn't do this. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. She exhaled shakily. Fine. If you're angry, I understand. But don't ruin yourself trying to ruin me. You're not that kind of person. Maybe I wasn't, I said. But pain changes people. You taught me that. She whispered my name like a prayer, but I ended the call. David looked at me carefully. You okay? No, I admitted. But I'm not broken anymore. That night, Layla called with updates. She's scrambling behind the scenes, Layla said. Her investors want reassurance. Some are backing out. Nothing major, but the pressure is real. Good, I said. This is just the beginning. She hesitated. You sound steady, almost cold. Do you have a problem with that? Not at all, she replied. I just want to make sure you know what you're doing. I know exactly what I'm doing. When the call ended, I stood at the window, watching city lights flicker like restless thoughts. The satisfaction I felt was frightening, not because it was wrong, but because it was powerful. Is this who I'm becoming? A man who strikes back, who calculates, who hits where it hurts. The answer wasn't comforting, but it was true. I whispered to the empty room. You underestimated me, Zara, and that was your first mistake. Tonight was the first strike. Subtle, strategic, sharp, and as I breathed in the quiet thrill of reclaiming control, I understood one thing clearly. I wasn't done, not even close. The message came like a thunderclap. Zara, you've crossed a line. Cease your actions immediately, or I'll make sure everyone sees the truth, and you'll regret it. I dropped my phone onto the desk, my chest tightening. My pulse quickened, old anxieties creeping in. Fear, uncertainty, the echoes of heartbreak. They all surged together, mocking me. David, I called, my voice sharper than I intended. She's threatening me, legally, socially, everything. He frowned, concern in his eyes. Are you okay? This is serious, Fraz. You can't take it lightly. I know, I admitted, pacing. But I can't stop. Not now. Not after everything she's done. I started this to reclaim myself, not just to humiliate her. He ran a hand through his hair. Just be careful. Don't let emotions cloud your judgment. I exhaled, trying to steady my thoughts. Emotions were a trap, but if I buried them completely, I'd lose the clarity that had brought me this far. I dialed Layla next. You've seen her message? I asked the moment she picked up. Yes, she said flatly. She's desperate, but desperate people make mistakes. That's our advantage. I don't know, I confessed. For a moment, I felt small again, like the old me. That old you, Layla said, voice firm, is why she got away with everything. The new you sees patterns, anticipates moves, and acts strategically. Don't let fear push you back. I nodded, feeling a flicker of resolve. Okay, but I need to hit harder now. She won't stop until she thinks she's untouchable, or until she's exposed. I agree, Layla said, but carefully. Every step counts. You've already shown her cracks. Push, but don't overcommit. That evening, I arranged the confrontation. Not a public scene, something private, where I could observe, measure, and exploit. The office she rented in the city center seemed far smaller, less imposing than her apartment. She waited inside, posture rigid, mask of calm failing to hide the tension in her shoulders. Fraz, she said, voice clipped, trying to reclaim authority. I didn't expect to see you here. I expected you'd threaten me, I replied, calm, measured. I came to remind you. Your arrogance blinds you. Her eyes narrowed. You've gone too far. You know that, right? I've gone exactly far enough, I said, stepping closer. You underestimated me. Thought I'd crumble. Thought fear would keep me silent. You think you're clever, she said, voice rising. But you're reckless. You could ruin yourself trying to take me down. And you thought you could ruin me, I countered softly. But look at you now. Sweating, defensive, watching every word I say. That's the first crack in your confidence, Zara. Her jaw tightened. You don't understand. As I walked out into the night, city lights reflecting off the asphalt, I whispered to myself, the breaking point is here, and from now on, I make the rules. I watched from the sidelines, letting the ripple of consequences wash over her life quietly, deliberately. Zara's empire, once untouchable in my eyes, began to unravel. Not with a bang, but with the soft, insidious creak of foundations giving way. She's losing partners, Haroon said, sitting across from me in a cafe we'd claimed as our temporary strategy hub. Some are cutting ties quietly, some confronting her openly. Her credibility is shot. I nodded, sipping black coffee, the bitter taste grounding me. And she doesn't know I'm behind most of this. Not yet. Let her think it's just bad luck. Haroon raised an eyebrow. You're enjoying this, aren't you? I'm observing, I said carefully. Not enjoying. It's justice. Yet, even as I said it, I couldn't ignore the faint tug of empathy. I remembered her laugh, her warmth, the way she used to rest her head against my shoulder. I hated that part of me, but I couldn't erase it. She's unraveling, Layla added later over a call. Investors are panicking, lawsuits are looming, and her staff are questioning every move she's made. The first cracks are showing, and they're only getting bigger. Good, I whispered to myself, and yet the word felt hollow, incomplete. The satisfaction of justice was there, but the ache of loss lingered, stubborn and insistent. I walked past my old apartment later that week, the key cold in my hand. I had reclaimed the lease legally, supported by evidence Layla had meticulously documented. I slid it into the lock and turned it. The click echoed inside me, small but definitive. My apartment, the life she had stolen, was mine again. Inside, I paused, running my fingers over the surfaces I had once called home. The walls, the floorboards, even the faint smell of aged leather from my armchair. It was all familiar, welcoming in a way that had nothing to do with her absence. David peeked in later that day. "Feels like you've come home," he said. "It does," I admitted. "And it doesn't. The space is mine again, but the memories, they're complicated." He nodded, understanding more than I could say. "You've changed, Fraz, but you've survived. More than that, you've reclaimed yourself." I smiled faintly, pulling a dusty journal from a shelf. My own handwriting stared back at me. Plans, dreams, moments of vulnerability I had once recorded without thought. Now, holding it, I felt the symbolism. Reclaimed control over my life, over my story. "I thought I'd hate her forever," I murmured. "But there's something almost tragic in watching someone fall because of themselves." Arun joined me a few days later. "You're calm now. Strategic, but calm. That's new." "Not entirely calm," I admitted. "I still feel the echoes of what she took from me. But I also see that life goes on, that I can rebuild." And rebuild I did. Old friends returned, drawn not by sympathy but by respect, by the quiet power I had cultivated in the weeks since the betrayal. My career began to stabilize. Doors reopened. Opportunities one had once thought lost resurfaced. Every small victory was a note in the symphony of reclamation. One evening, I picked up a framed photo from my desk. It was of Zara and me from happier times. I didn't burn it. I didn't hide it. I placed it carefully on the shelf, a silent acknowledgement. Memories remain, but they no longer control me. "She's losing everything," I whispered to Arun one evening. "And I'm free. Free from fear, free from dependency, free from her control." "But there's a cost," he said gently. "Revenge never comes without it. You've gained power, but you've carried the weight of betrayal, obsession, and calculation. That's heavy." "I know," I admitted, tracing the edge of the photo. "And yet, I've also gained resilience. I've learned to trust selectively, to anticipate deceit, to navigate life with clarity. That's a gift I wouldn't have had otherwise." Later, alone, I returned to my journal. I flipped through the pages, reading old thoughts, comparing them to who I had become. The pain, the heartbreak, the obsession, they had transformed into strategy, agency, and ultimately, growth. The night felt still, almost sacred, as if the city itself acknowledged the shift. I held a single key in my hand, one of my apartment, one of my life, one of my reclaimed identity. Turning it in the lock hadn't just opened a door. It had closed the chapter of victimhood. And yet, somewhere deep, I allowed a quiet thought to linger. Even as karma unfolded, even as justice manifested, empathy remained. The woman I had loved was still human, flawed, ambitious, broken in ways I now understood too well. Revenge could never erase the past, and victory could never remove the pain entirely. But it could restore balance. And for now, that was enough. I set the key down on the desk, letting it sit beside the journal and the photo. Each symbol marked a reclamation of life, of identity, of self. I breathed deeply, the city lights reflecting off my windows like distant beacons. Somewhere beyond the glass, Zara faced the consequences of her choices. And somewhere inside me, I finally felt whole. Not healed entirely, but stronger. Not unscarred, but empowered. Not unhurt, but unbroken. And that, I realized, was the ultimate victory. I stood at the balcony of my reclaimed apartment, the city stretching below me like a map of possibilities. The air felt crisp, carrying the faint scent of rain and renewal. For the first time in months, I wasn't haunted by empty rooms or the echo of betrayal. I had my life back. My home, my dignity, my peace of mind, it was mine again. David appeared behind me, coffee in hand. "You look different," he said, cautious but curious. "I feel different," I admitted, watching the sun dip into the horizon. "I'm not the man I was before, not the one she left behind." "You're stronger," he said simply. I smiled faintly. Stronger, yes, wiser, maybe, and definitely freer. A message buzzed on my phone. I glanced at it, expecting trouble. Zara, I can't believe you. How did you get it all back? I stared at the text, fingers hovering over the screen. Part of me, an old, lingering part, wanted to respond, to gloat, to rub her nose in her shock. Instead, I typed, "It's yours to reflect on. No need for further conversation." I hit send. No malice, no vengeance. Just closure. Her shock was sufficient. Later, I met Arun and Layla at the cafe where we plotted much of the comeback. Their eyes, warm with respect, reflected what I already knew. The journey had transformed me, and they had been part of it. "You really did it," Arun said, shaking his head. "I never thought she'd see it coming like this." "I didn't do it to show her," I replied. "I did it to show myself I could survive and thrive." Layla leaned forward. "Most people wouldn't have the patience, the discipline. You reclaimed your life without losing yourself completely. That's rare." I laughed softly. I didn't always feel like myself. Some nights, I wondered if I was becoming like her, driven by anger and obsession. But now, I see that I was learning, adapting, growing. She nodded. "And that's the key. Revenge is hollow if it doesn't teach you something." I thought of the months past, the sleepless nights, the small victories, the careful chess moves, the tension-filled confrontations. Every step had tested my morality, my patience, my endurance. And yet, each step had also revealed a strength I hadn't known existed. Returning to my apartment later, I ran my fingers over the surfaces I had once called home. The journal I reclaimed sat on the desk, a symbol of memory and reflection. The old photo of Zara and me rested beside it. I didn't hide it, didn't burn it. It was a reminder not of heartbreak, but of survival. David called from the kitchen. "Dinner's ready. You hungry?" "Starving," I replied, letting a rare laugh escape. The sound felt light, almost foreign. As we ate, I thought of the person I had been when she left, the boy who trusted blindly and lost everything. I wasn't that person anymore. The heartbreak had shaped me. The betrayal had hardened and refined me, and the journey had taught me resilience. I walked through my apartment later, touching surfaces that were mine once more. The couch, the bookshelves, even the doorknobs that had witnessed so many memories. Each object, each corner whispered recovery. A faint smile appeared as I paused at the window, looking at the city skyline. Opportunities stretched endlessly, just as the horizon did. Career paths, friendships renewed, new experiences waiting. Perhaps even love, cautious and measured this time. David's voice interrupted my reverie. "You ever think about her?" "Sometimes," I admitted, "but not with longing, not with anger, just reflection. I acknowledge what she did, the pain she caused, but I don't let it define me anymore." "That's impressive," he said genuinely. "I've realized something," I said, voice quiet, introspective. "Growth matters more than revenge. Self-respect matters more than proving someone else wrong. She took a lot from me, but she can't take who I've become." The city lights blinked on, one by one, as darkness settled around us. I felt a quiet optimism, an understanding that the next chapter of life would be guided by choice, strength, and awareness, not fear or lingering hurt. I returned to the balcony, journal in hand. Flipping it open, I reflected on entries of hope, of despair, of planning, of resilience. Each page marked a transformation, from loss to strategy, from heartbreak to empowerment, from chaos to clarity. And in that quiet moment, I acknowledged the truth. I was no longer the boy she abandoned. I was a man who had survived, who had learned, who had emerged unbroken. The keys to my apartment rested on the desk, a symbol of reclaimed control. The journal and the photo, reminders of the past, now felt like allies rather than chains. Every corner of this home, every object, every sound, reminded me that I had not only reclaimed property, but dignity, respect, and agency. I exhaled slowly, the weight of months finally lifting. There was relief, yes, but also a sense of possibility. The horizon stretched beyond the city lights, full of uncharted opportunities, potential friendships, ventures, and perhaps new love. I whispered to the quiet room, to the city, to myself, "This is not an ending. This is a beginning, and I will face it with all I've learned. Stronger, wiser, unbroken." The journey had been long. It had been painful. It had been morally ambiguous and emotionally exhausting. But in the end, it had shaped me into someone I respected, someone capable of moving forward. And that, I realized, was worth more than any revenge.